A lot of big events coming up through 2019. We thought it'd be good. We know we do a parent meeting like this at the beginning of the school year, so way back in August. Some of you may have been here. Prop up a little recliner for you right here. And we went over a lot of this stuff at that parent meeting, but we feel like we're halfway through the year now, and we're looking forward, especially into the summer events that are coming up. So it's just a good time to have another parent meeting, just to put out more details on some of these events that we have coming up and give you more information right now. So that's the goal of this, is just to try to do a good job of communicating with everybody as parents and as high schoolers, so everybody can start making their summer plans, and things for the rest of this year, and so that's the goal today. So the first thing I want to talk about is a trip, and this is a new thing for our youth group. This is going to be the first time doing this thing. It's called Maven Truth, and we're going to put some information up here about it. But let me give you just a taste of what it is and a little bit of the history. Years ago, for those of you that are longtime FBC families, the high schoolers used to do this thing called SEM, where, let me even back up a step. Middle schoolers have a big event each year that we do. Their big thing for the year is called Jam. And we take middle schoolers up to inner city Philadelphia, and it's evangelism training. They're learning how to share the gospel, and so they go up to Philadelphia and they do this thing called Jam. And that's the big middle school thing. The big high school thing that was sort of the equivalent to Jam back in the day was called SEMP. And we would take groups of high schoolers out to Chicago, and it was a very similar type of thing, only a little more mature. It was evangelism training and going out and doing street evangelism in the streets of Chicago. But we stopped doing that event. I guess 4 years ago was the last time that we went on SEMP. So we've been looking for a replacement for that big high school trip. We're hoping that we think and believe, and I'm excited about this Maven Truth, because we feel like that's going to be the replacement for what used to be SEMP. Okay? So I'm going to give you a little history of who Maven is, and then I got a little video to show you from them, just so you can see it. But so what Maven is an organization. They're actually a new organization. They just officially formed, I think, 2 years ago, 2017, but they've been doing it, they've been doing these events for going back 10 years now, 11 years now. And what they started up doing, it was a group of really apologists, and probably some names that you might recognize, that came together, and they started on the West Coast doing these apologetics immersion experiences. And what they were really focused on high school aged kids. And what they were doing is they'd take youth groups, high school youth groups, out to the campus of Berkeley in California. So a huge college campus, a very liberal college campus. And they would stay at a host church there near Berkeley. And all week long they would have apologetics training. And then during the days, they would go out on the campus on Berkeley, and they would equip the kids to go out and do these worldview surveys. So the kids would go around campus and find people willing to take a survey and learn how to ask them questions just to find out what is it that people believe. And on Berkeley, you really are going to get exposed to a spectrum of what people believe. And then in the evenings, they'd come back and have these just great discussions about what it was that they heard. Like, you met somebody today that believed that there's an octopus in the sky that created everything. So let's talk about that. And so each evening, what it helped to do is it gets the kids, instead of it being apologetics being this theoretical thing, it made it very real, because you really looked somebody in the eyes today that believed this stuff. And how do you engage in a world where those kind of worldviews exist? And so it was meant to be just a helping to equip high schoolers to really be confident enough in their own selves and their own faith to be able to engage the world in whatever it is that they might believe. So last year I contacted Maven, and they happened to be wanting to start up a similar thing on the East Coast. So we've been working with Maven, and Stephen Danello's in the back of the room here. He's going to be our FBC contact with Maven. So we're working with Maven to start up an East Coast version of what we've been doing at Berkeley for 11 years now. This will be the first East Coast one to be done this summer, June, and our church is the first going to be the guinea pigs for it. So we're going to go and join them on this. So with that, what Courtney's going to show, you can check out maventruth.com to really learn about their organization. And this is kind of their mission statement. They exist to help the next generation to know truth. So apologetics and understanding truth and how to dig into truth is a big focus of theirs. To pursue goodness and create beauty and equip those who teach and train them, parents, youth workers, pastors, and educators to do the same. So they want to be providing tools, equipping us as parents, as youth workers, to really be able to train and equip our students to engage the world, is the bottom line. So with that, there's a little video. Courtney, if you could show the video. This is a dated video. It goes, they've been doing this a number of years. It's from even before they were called Maven Truth, but this just explains what it is they do from out of
Our students gave themselves totally to Christ and began living for Christ no matter what the cost. You could change our generation.
Sean McDowell, he is the head of the Bible department down at Capistrano Valley Christian Schools. Yep, his dad's Josh. And Sean recently did something that is really neat, but it's very suspicious.
We open up to students, we say, we're going to go to Berkeley. You see Berkeley, the height of liberalism, the height of the radical, demonstrations going back to the 60s, and we're going to invite in some of the top thinkers, atheists, skeptics, agnostics, homosexual activists, and we're going to put them in front of our students. And we're going to teach them how to defend their faith and interact with these people, ask good questions, and be confident that they can defend what they really believe.
This is getting into the heart of Berkeley right here.
No, you don't have to trust me. You don't have to trust me in anything.
So you don't think that there can be like an intelligent design or a God or someone or something that created it?
There is no God. Even be skeptical of your skepticism. Doubt maybe some of your atheistic assumptions, and maybe open yourself up to a little bit more of the evidence.
15 years from now, God may take that little stone that we put in there, in 2008, and it may be 2018, where then it'll be harvested.
People would kind of leave their faith around the college time, experiencing things, and then come back. This is the first generation. We're not sure how many are coming back.
A trip like this can help you figure out why you believe what you believe, and it helps you just know your faith better and know God better. And so I think it's essential to wherever you're going to college.
At the very least, hopefully, they walk away saying, okay, that group of Christians was rational. At the end of the day, we hope and we pray that, the people we've talked to a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, ultimately, this is a starting point where God may bring some of them to Him.
So that's Maven Truth, and what the trip entails. If you sign up for the trip, and I have some information, like any student who wants to go will fill out an application, and you're committing when you apply to do this is for starting in March, really in February, is we're going to start having classes. There's going to be required readings, there's books you're going to have to read, and there's classes you're going to have to attend that lead up to actually going on the trip into DC. So it's not just a trip for a week. What's all is included in that is all the training and all the materials and the classwork that the kids are going to be participating in for the months leading up to the trip. The trip will be in June, then June 9th through 15th. We will go take the kids into inner city Washington, D.C. There's a host church there that we'll be staying at, so we'll be sleeping at this church, eating, preparing our own food, staying there, all the training courses, and we'll be going out into some of the college camp, and they're still working out some of the details there, but probably Georgetown and on the Washington, D.C. Mall, and doing these engaging real people and understanding how to defend their faith. So that is the Maven Truth thing. And when you walk out here, I have some of the applications if you want to look over it, where your students will be committing to participating in all the training sessions and going on the trip, and what the cost is associated with that. So that's all on Maven Truth. Any quick questions on that before we go to the next event? Any thoughts on the Maven Truth trip? Stephen, anything you want to add to that? Oh, there's a question up here. The cost for Maven Truth is $550. Okay, so that counts for the week. That's the, we're going to be, we're paying for the lodging, all the training materials, paying for the Maven Truth trainer. They're going to be doing the actual leading of it on site. Once we're there, we're going to be doing the in-house training leading up to it, and food for the week. So that's the cost, $550. Yeah.
Is there a certain number of people that you'll accept?
I don't think, there's not a cap. We've already made a deposit for the Maven Truth organization, and I think we committed that we would have at least 20.
Okay.
So we need to get at least 20 going.
Is it high school only or is it?
It's high school only, yeah. And because of the homework and the rigor of it, there's a certain maturity level that you want to have there for it to get the full benefit.
But it'll be rising 8th graders, so current 8th graders can still go, right? Will they be high schoolers?
Yeah, so rising 8th graders going into 9th grade or graduating seniors if they wanted to go too. So yeah, if you as a parent need to evaluate your kid. There's a certain maturity level you want to make sure that they would be. If it's a rising 8th grader, you need to just assess your own kid. Are they going to be able to? Are they going to do the reading, do the homework, be there, be willing to go out, engage people, and do these surveys? So you as a parent need to really kind of assess your student on that, especially on the younger end of that scale. So, Stephen, anything to add to the Maven Truth real quick?
Well, one thing I would say is I teach at the local college, and I get a lot of children who may have been homeschooled or who went and had different, were brought up in truth and in faith and Christianity. And when they're in my classroom, I had one young lady who went to Eucharia, and when we were talking about abortion in one of my classes, she actually stated that the harmful cells in the mother's womb is a cancer. What I'm saying is not everybody who is brought up in what we know to be true sticks with it as they get older. And I think that being apologetics or learning about all these different things that they're going to encounter while they're still in our homes, while they're still, under our shepherding, is a good time for them to have an opportunity to see what the world's going to be offering them, and I guess trying to distract them from. So.
So we do hold the value to being able to defend our faith and understand what it is we believe and why we believe it as a value here. So, all right. So with that, I'm going to turn over to Courtney. Courtney's going to talk over the next couple of. Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry, in the back.
The dates.
The dates. So in the packet, there are training dates leading up through. Yeah. So in the packet that I have, it has all the training dates. The actual event is we go to DC June 9th. And come back the 15th.
If anybody has these, we pass this out at the beginning of the year. This is our youth event calendar. It's on that. If you need one, they're back here, so please pick it up on your way out.
Yeah, all of these things are on this thing that you got at the beginning of the year. You may be lost, but take it home, put it on your refrigerator. They're out in the hall. We have some out here. But the dates and stuff, at least, are on these cards, as well as other information. Any other Maven Truth questions?
Is there a deadline when you need applications?
Yeah. I wouldn't wait, but the last date because we need to get you the books and the materials and have the training set up is March 4th to have your application in. Okay.
So does Maven Truth have its own curriculum, or is that another?
Well, they have books that that they will be using, but yes, they have curriculum too, and then they have the whole on-site stuff. So they'll be providing all of that. That's part of the cost of it. But we'll be getting books, and Stephen's going to be working with them to help provide the materials. Yep.
Do you have a quick where you can show how we have the curriculum that we're going to be going through, like already kind of tentatively pegged out a schedule? We kind of have a schedule that here on Sunday second service we're going to go through 6 weeks of training.
Yeah, so I have in the application are those details, so the training dates and then what books. Like there's one required reading book that will be provided once they sign up. That they'll be going through, and a lot of the training will be coming out of that book. But another one that's not, and we should have maybe made it required, but it's optional but strongly recommended, is like Tactics by Brett Conkle. That's another one that the curriculum will be coming out of. So All of that information's in the application sheet. All right?